current administration massive vote, and therefore they believe in the government that they are, you can be able to diversify yourself. You can think about so many areas. It's not only about the tax. So the three taxes that will not create anything, but either from the farmers, which is agriculture, and then also supporting the private sector so they can also expand, bring more people into the system in terms of employment, and they will create more money for the economy. So this is the way to go.
Okay. Now, obeso baby say, workers' wage, and also saying that you bet me a survey a honest.
So workers' wage in terms of what? Say it's more money. Say no. It's a work. You talk about public sector workers. They are working, and they're supposed to reflect in their lives. Now, if the cost of living in the economy is very high, and you still maintain what they are getting, they will not benefit. It will create confusion in the system. It is say public sector for no omu yejuma. Na in case nyoma bo akosro na ska kromenya omo de call marketer omo ntimi ntohwe a si omo ho be kire omo nyina so eto aba ana omo nim so oban aba so obetimi aye mo bia ho ato no nti kwan bia so no e wo say Minister of Finance otimi ehwe the wage increase no for the public sector so omo so ho betimi ato because I'm telling you, especially when it comes to issue of education, you have lecturers, you have teachers, all of them. If you are talking about the growth of economy, it depends on the human capital, and these are the people who are teaching our, so that we can have future educated people and all that. So I think that the public sector wage should also be increased to actually match with the cost of living. But at times it becomes very necessary for a binding say or the organization heads no ebeshia no mu nyina timi aplane no mo abotimi atoto nyama senya asomdwe betimi abomanu intimi nimpefe passe the finance minister no or no ebeka nyoma na mabobo so nyina afiesusu no. So I'm looking at another thing which has to do with asset declaration, you see, because in case say abani share about efficient resources there. Na omwa parliamentarians or ministers are appointed to omuna no anke beye kranko so omu declare asset. Into declare asset, it means you are showing a level of accountability. To declare asset to time soon so be quiet so that in case you say mismanagement here you be but if you don't declare asset and you come and then the same resources now you want and you come and they take it now that Ghana I know that the Minister of Finance and the President will have a solid ways and means even making sure say resources are efficiently utilized, and that is where Ghana you can move from the level that we are to a brighter future. That is why the NDC manifesto is saying that we are restricting the Ghana to prosperity.
Okay, and Wadaroma Prof, where as economist, saying that ususu say government no able to me as support a private workers and as a private companies in the study a juma anyone my municipal assembly subet me at
already president the manifesto is what we call big push. Say abang a devote to ska, say scandal. So only bring your idea, and then let us know. Am I buying who? Why say? I was buying a boy. I buy one to me now. Not buying this car. I more say faku be wejuma and I quatre wejuma mu. Me who the entire I was say I buying to me boy. So to kill to say Apostle Joseph. These are the people in the economy who are talented. They are bringing something. Now, when I buying to me in casa or about straight away casa memuska. I was say one now. Would you propose the video car was buying? This is the business I made. Service Misikan and so into Boami. Abano Sanu Inemu, no one says Sefa to say the Boa, Abani Beboa. So individuals, yes, no, so Abani and making that opportunity available. For example, here can be say, I could conquer to any annual money.
Equia Sapama and out to say, Eshibum efi parliament on ne one professor Ebonkomo efa hono na I na Ghana na internet no asemo ho enti no ye be fa ne sa na ja kakra se ya na ye de ko budget to me na ne fan so kan se me all of what can we na Oda afe ne sikenyu kotokuma budget ne ho hia
but onim ade ba kwa sisi say Ghana for ina di to mutum ne say akofo be start e complain say doom see na se for na start.
Oh, and I say catch almost time na yet to aba say
nanado time. Sisi a budget no e free ene. So munya ka budget ni we a near the Ghana share na John Dramani Mahama sir. But from January, anytime man nanado free so ni na no. Doom so say whatever prices of goods and services, there may be a cost to be no. Nanado dan kwaku for the share ho. Take note of that. Said the bear, ebenya clarity in all this discussion. Say abay the measures and the go akwa to send when you can start so all year the no. Ebe sustain your energy sector no because energy sector you cannot tell me say ECG me try me kania. Captain Tony Kania and the Kania sa no atiska no akwakoto. Na ECG da so de ka. Sika na kwa he. Omo operate with more than 8 different accounts. Sika na bi kogu anebia kogu at the end of the day it make it come your factories are aka nwurem ni na no I expect to say a portion of our budget should be allocated for factories are aka nwurem na ye fa restore your factories no agenda 111 na so
yes sapoma
okay
ahoma na timi atom yi na fe ekwa
kakra both majority and afa minority side no omo nyina e ba kakra ye hwe so omo nyina timi ebeba abepie mo ha no mo say na finance minister eso beba abedru ha no mo say na budget na kasa no omo ede ahyehye so ntine captain ye ha no mo say ye kakra bibi na ye besan aba mo nchen
ekwa ante menka we usa samije mfiti ho na nka mehwe se obetimi na kasa anyway oje na okasa
yes na me kasa your factories ndodo na akanwuram you expect say John Dramani Mahama ebe allocate funds sika na ye dey restore your factories no ya hunu say your hospitals ndodo na akanwuram of course they say make sure say ebe allocate sika near the restore your hospitals no na kofo dodo na anya hospital akọ especially the Seria Hospital, a Parliamentary Hospital, ni na kabume about 750 bed capacity. Kumasi Jute Factory. See be agenda 111 and I say be factories, one district, one factory there. That's about restore 24-hour economy there. Yen resource all the private sectors. They make sure say almost so are well equipped, financially equipped. Na yen you no more school abrochire. I more scholarships no. Aban more dia no ntua because captain uni ma dey ba kwesa so ha adwene kese pa dey say see all the outside universities no any GD ba kokra wo Ghana mu because so mo kwana so munya partial scholarships na say aban Ghana government na etua it mean di more than months students no kwa here mu pa students especially mo UK ne other part US ne other part of the world no omo kwa here mu pa I know eye asem kese akwanya hono ewo yekrum ha no musi ya na nada danko akufu ado so ye ya audit akwan no ya allocate sika foforo for akwan no but near audit the previous one se koba se amuakwata edi Ghana dreamer ye fa na enkosi bra no na mra no ene nindi at that facet of the economy all the sectors of the economy you making sure say be allocate good money e dey akọ me wo mu say this year in this time no e trying times aye da so egusu tua ye levy. Mind you say, Bosia Ghana, Kenoforiata Kokobo in the name of Ghana or in the bank Ninya so fast one. O pushing the question, MSC Ghana, a friend ye Kwakutia, John Dramani Mahama Kwakutia, Sabosiano. Ye what a more refinery, and then ye refinery. Ye first Sikako Honomo, near to me refining Yankasaya oil, near making sure say bit me in the sky at the Abua Ghana. Near my Yakono Yankasaya near my new and then Nasufuina. Near to be producing near me, adie. General, and Burkina Faso, omoye tomatoes, tomato paste, omoye bi, omoye oil. Esa so ye nyama hudo bebre a eka omukrom ho no mtu pebi akwakota. No akọ Burkina Faso akwakoto bi. Na wo wetimi aye na omonja so mfaso na sika na bọ mo ho no mo. Yeso betimi aye bi because ye wo akoma dan wo ho no mo a me no kasai wa papa Kwame Nkrumah esi tomatoes factory any si wenchi. We can restore all these ones. near making sure say your factories no will be restored. Next Sikana Kakrum had say your jute factory or your tomatoes factory or your bonsa factory am produce 2 times. Your Abosso glass factory or you were more than enough factories I bet me a restore, if not all. Kakebi bet me a restore biano. Now those products nina enkaha. Nianton be mad the neighboring countries. Niantimi Yesika efa Gugana had muse near Famoya bra. Nama who work for so intimimra had muse. Anya crowd say be and kwama no nimpo. Nasa Ghana mebunu enya juma ya. It is worth it. Because the rate at which Ghana mebunu etu kwan ekokoye juma wa mahodo so no. Ya. Imagine there was over 750 bed capacity sitting in the bush. Ghana nurses, yet to be employ Ghana nurses. Yet to be employ Ghana nurses. Nurses don't want na etifie. Teachers etifie. Any other kofoina, I want to fear. We cannot employ them all in the name of money. All in the name of money. It's at this point in time, say, Kobasi yebetimi aye bibi ya. Ye making sure say restore all these factories. At least kakra ne maku bi. Ne ye Ghana sikano engineer hanu muse ya. And I know say John Dramani Mahama, the step I was taking in trying to solve Ghana's issue, no, a bit me aboa some way somehow. Because just 4 years pay. I mean, not to me find BBA 4 years is extra. But so to me to turn the name, you know, lay a very solid foundation now. I am very sure said that foundation will pave way for the next government of Beba. Next government also at me jinaso. No what me a tribal maniama so to me akoye ede ama Ghana. What we need is not about any other thing. We need employment opportunities for the youth. You hear Ghana nanti ne mabru so betumi aye adwuma. You hear say kofo betumi aye enema bebre na bibia so tumi akoyi ama. Anya sa ye bebre asoman. Anya sa ye bebre asoman. Nti say ye betumi ahwe na sa nema ni na akoso a ye ba be ready budget. Ye ma budget no ehwo nya akono. Ne make sure say ye nya Ghana mabunu and be benefit first. Like you always say, Kwame Nkrumah has always said say Ghana first, and that is what we need. Say Ghana mabunu entimi e benefit here. Ni aka ni na no e kwa ma hodo so sika besa ba back wa ha no say construction agencies, any other private agencies na so for ni na no eboa etimi restore the hope of the economy, and that is the way to go. Ya ye ne sa na Captain ebe hadwe na emaye nya value for money. Iti yebesre say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, only Finance Minister Ato Forson, more restore the hope you have been talking about into the economy. Nema Ghana economy no etiminyina ne naso. At least we cannot get 100% economy, but we can get at least about 50% or 40%, or even better still 60% of the hope ayenya ewo Ghana economy. No na yetimi ama Ghana mebunu etimi aye. We can go to the farming sector. Na yetimi ako other sectors ni na in the facet of the economy. Ni yetimi pushi ama niema so yetimi akoye. Si anya sa Ghana ye be di edokono kwa. Sisi aye kra kusuya yina. I mean, how come? And it's me kra kusuya. Kusuya na symphony na no. We were producing some in our economy. Kwamnada Akonom, Boris Binum, any other companies. They were producing. Now, say, well, you be draw, you won't draw a hold why what had say ya. You be funny at their quabruch, you might call refine no mass at their brain at all. And I'm saying, petenam. You did come far who I yes, such a who say, I could near to near to. I mean, we should cherish what we have. It's young process, young packaging, ye knee, nay to me and tungo so near the we are near their call. I'm a hold off for so nothing, almost so at me benefit me. It's answer an aname. Guest, since my host, I will show this. But then, Chebeko, Rashid Jemnafi, Yakokodi, and Koboka Crow Honorable, Kessel Ato Forson, Finance Minister, or the Ghana call my Bossicano, Eddie Bray. But Miembra, near any fit homeopathy for Edim Kobo. Quick one, as the Yako, Rashid Jemnafi, Kobo. Miami Sofu, I will have to say, Apostle Aquaba. Rakovi, the verify. Who you come and mingle with the we made him come up quick one of faith to be part in that Yentwaso. Okay, you better was JB. Now I didn't chance with Kwama prophetess Dr. Elizabeth Faith. A BBO will be a Chama Faith of your party, doctors and nurses in and can Dr. Boati, maybe you will be a chance with Kokra. Now, a few over faith homeopathic clinic, you see was a self-care awareness year.
na de ntia self care ne say you say nipa do na be ba hospital no na watena sia ma yare no adosa na dedere no and say there are few symptoms bia bronika say because telltale symptoms so bia we yare ni fiti prekope ema ye wo period bia yare ni take develop kakran sa time no sa period na eba no yare no eda ne ho di wa akwanua sabi so e de kyerɛ nipa na wo yare no ti sɛ wo ye obi a wapɔmode ho hia wa sa time na e fe incubation period no wo say oba bi timi ye kakra na kɔ benya pain bi na kɔ yellow bi timi beda wani so na kɔ ona se timi tata kakra na kɔ wo hɔ you have just say different experiences are wo nim say enye sana na wapɔmode nsɛm no etie sa time no ebetima incubation period na yare na sha sen kakra ewraw faith homeopathic clinic sa brand who san century na infant na ho because all the time na say oh makwan ama yare no all the foundations aye de beye bia e de aba beye o enu nti no faith homeopathic clinic yakofa mfidie enu papa de aba ye say unya hu say bibia sesa wo ni padua mu na infant na ho o ba sa brand no for say ye betimi asaw yare boni be ka say early detection is key. So who ya de ntem no eboa metimi nya ne pomase bre etu ase ntem abra e kakase ne sikatuatua bia enim mpempi ne yetsaw ma yare ndokroye hya wa edu bekom e ka obebo wankasa wo ni padua akwanua said wo befa so no eye bre ne hawo eno nti bra ne be chef die nim ye betimi askane oni padua ne nyina na fie na kire de ekoso ye be mo hu the state of your health na yare bi ahase a develop by say yesi ano kwan no entempa na etimi yesi ano de aba a yehu ni nti no yehu ni ntam nti no etimi si ano de edi kan a eye na dwuma dada nso so no yehu na yedi na chiwade aka no sabria me no kase ya ewiasa masaka bon ko da betu dwa me hu say the amount of chemicals are say na ba ye de yemfu ni ade no nipa bia so didi num suo home mfama nko ade a certain amount of chemicals ko mu de biara da amfa nsuo mefa waduanim amfa waduanim mefa onframa ana say fruit bi a wo wie ene wan kasa painkillers bi a wo tono mo a doctor bia prescribe ma wo because when we say sa pain e ba bia na konom say duro na eboa wo ebre bi ba e de how kese pa be ma wo how na jinsemo ti fa number no na bra faith homeopathic clinic kuma se e wa hene makoko bi 18 more en cry ha say die oba Santa Maria Abuya junction na ye ho ye di dwuma na enam say bosomi we eye Ghana bosomi ntino ye the free screen bi atoso abosomi mu nyina oba ye be gibra hwehwe oni padwanim ama de ha no so watimi ehuni ntem ne nya ne pomasi bre e de ama fa number we ne frame 0540 710 940 0540 710 940 Oba Santa Maria ye wo ho ye di adwuma wo Abuya junction ho ma kuma se ye wo ahenema kokobe 18 ho takrade ye wo Anaji police station che ho ma Dr. Boatin ebo adwuma sanso na ukọ Koforidua nso Landry managers road Dr. Dora e wo ho nom mo bogoso nyina mo nko old aseda Dr. Enoch aye crowd wo ho a otwe mo enfidie ni bi wo ba bia screen no e koso ba bia Ghana ba bia bra na ye nye brehwe oni paduanim na de e koso bia ne ntimi hu ntem na ye mpe ne pomase bre enfama wo ne Dr. Kofi e wo ha say tu obeka mebi
on say JB Elena finance minister de
yes quick one na yo
Ghana ni nyina ne say onso Kofi a onso do akọ musika ekoto ti wabisa won say won hoden ade koye adwuma akọ akọ musika Kofi na ma ye no ma di no etisen enti ye no nti ne gina ha say wa hoden no ensisisu nti no e wo so tumrika na ba faith homeopathic clinic na won nya hoden sonko a obetimi dia ye adwuma na wonye sika na won so dia ba akọ homa ofi na ni nyina ne say yade enya de pa ye di mfidie na ye adwuma fidie na behu yade no a kire aduru a ye mfa mo a ye de mawa ebetumi asiesie ni pedua na ma yade ne bekoy konso a emedim ye ho no ye so yade so ho ye sa wo ba bekan asem ni atomaduru ama asaje konom ukona anyi ya ma foforo ye ho no de ye wo ba eye nhwehwemu a ye frase ye hwe organs no vital organs no ye check 36 organs hwenia o hawo no wo ye nyadaje ama no ahwe eyi wo ho no fi ho yade bia ye hwe yade atena wo so ache de odi ntina brenfa bra bedan obi beba na nani na dum etesi so ubon so beba ebe nhwemu ebehwe no obekọ enche na ekọ oba osmo de ani de wo yade pa o obi nso di stroke abana no ache ne nsada ne so ono nso ba ya nyame adom wato ne poma atwo no atimi nante no And then on also say, faith for the stroke pan and we are there. Obi by na diabetes in tea. Na the men my some yet diabetes in tea. Na ko yenya stroke. Diabetes in tea na kaya can kidney. And then yamia dum otwinya hodeno or say, faith for the diabetes there. Tatafe. Ni nyina say yade ni nyina yehwe. If we say akwan for society or sa akwan ho do ni nyina bi. So ba yes, you detoxify ni pedua na yebeye. The also massage yebeye. The also use acupuncture machine yebeye. Nia e wo say yenya adaje na uyoba yestimi vagina no so an nyina be infection ahodo no na se tata na se pija umia na atumu kotodwe na ehunu no ukotodwe what arthritis no sisi na etia no ni nyina ba ye behwe ne ye fiwa mo how bia your ho pomosibe o ntimi so number na ye di tudwa no fa frɛ oba wo de nkan ya de afidi na be che ya de a kire nura ye mfama wo wani no be ba wo hyeso ma wo ni nyina de how bia ohobia na be fi ho akɔ me so number of faith Kobe Party Clinic, Eddie Jumano, 0540 71 09 40 0540 71 09 40 and now 0547 57 84 94 0547 57 84 94 Wait, faith Homeopathic Clinic.
Wa uni akotaje frifa nye ba kuno ne wo say be the bishop.
That's right.
Ase minchia wo mano na.
That's right.
Bisu program me baby say afi be convocation no.
That's right.
Say me share poase kra na say because our convocation na page me no be dru baby.
It's very important.
It's baby am wo bia. Yeah annual holy convocation there. And the master say me kwa ritual. Yes. The other one say enti ye enche bia be call na yako journey Khemical Ato Forson and Mrashibedwamufo wo the Parliament House na fe yako akofa the states of our budget, that is the budget statement Eddie Amaye. The best aso akohobium, but the best aso ne economist for Eddie Nkomo na fe omotimi actually exactly what is the expectation and what we can put together to make sure say a bit to me budget no a bit to me ejane na sustaining for the next 1 year. And no ne adia ejina honomo ewo honomo nti ma me kwa ma so quick one na mene Joe Jackson or CEO Edema Delex Finance Consult any enkomo na yemisa no budget statements are at least we don't know all of them but yenim kakra bi wom a bit to me sustaining for the next 1 year and what are we expecting Agojo mo wanache mo akwa badeba on your TV so
yeah nampacho ababom design
ja ewo ebetini sa na yede chichi ere kakra sa but quick one what were into the finance sector yeah titi say the e-levy will be scrapped betting tax will be scrapped emission levy you be scrap it most of these taxes in na be year free honomo now we share the other budgets na eba no now share the way we see scrapping all these taxes na there free honomo and finance minister be can bet me sustain for the next 1 year na yet me any sky the ebu o man
me say enyama enu ne betimi esi ba ko ne say sa tax ye be yi enso ye the taxes for beba enu ye ba ko ya ebetimi say taxes na what that no microphone tia no ye beye ho adwuma na wo bia wo ntia no ye make sure say obetia if you say sika ne de so wa nim say I touching amabai I de amabai the taxes na ye person kana for you ni ye be yi na I say ye be ma o ntia no etia ama sika na dot kakra ana say ye the taxes for ebeba and no me imagine me dey change taxes here me change minister Ato Forson my what kind budget on na yetie
so as it stands now even though onyankai budget ni wie taxes be na we expect say also reintroduce and some of the be bafofro na etimi amagana for ehun ahare wo na enkonkoye a burden onto us
oh me die coming from body a property tax paper.
Okay.
What is your party? What is your home? A crumb handle, according to say you were Japanese, you better get your home. And so I'm coming here. Okabusia. One more Japadiano, and a Mutia. Enti, and come over at poor Dayo, who are Sansia this room. Dear with you make me a Sasia Yadi, a great Hanako Fujima, a Yako, and now with your bank was so, and now with apart from a Greek. Asafio Daniel, and so at Roma buying. Now, about to be the Jumama.
I see. Some economists also are of the view say E-levy is a good thing. That notwithstanding, I said the previous government are here too transparent and I'm buying no. It's like this administration, no maintaining E-levy no more yet transparent to Ghana for as in they should be accountable to Ghanaians with the E-levy money. Odin was saying.
If he says 11 years tax cap back one a second of a set of able food. Ain't he Obia Sabaya can miss say na me Kawawa 11 no Kayenga. So send you 11 second of able and so we get near or mind the pay. A year cry, if you say 11 no, and can get bad no. The other conclusion say, you will say, Ghana form pet. I said Ghana form pet, dear, so we. If you are not 11, the way here, near the battle home. May Massia Menino Fee or say. Massiwini or Massiba, when you feel with the or quantified. Or say, Joe, we 11 year, who I want to see 11 or young Japan year, like City to be a little. Mr. Massimin, yes, they can't be a year. Then you start near I want to.
I see. Now, so I'm sure, sir, you better engage you, but finally on this, toll booths and then as for it gave Ghana a reasonable amount of money as compared to the E-levy. No, not E-levy. No, so now say a reasonable amount of money. Okay, can you now boom? You're scrapping toll booths no near the E-levy there, but now you're going to scrap the E-levy. You're about to introduce toll booths nibi. Ghana baby I wanna you say the informal sector no tax to an form no. Like can we maintain the two and still make sure say a bit me I am more accountable to Ghana for with the introduction of new taxes and of course or more so crime near free man or neighbor no. COVID tax so it's one of the contributing factors I'm afojina so edit so about. Dear yenye emfa ho.
Number one. Patrol, Samia Yeti, Rotus, no. A call amount for Botum and call a Bible. Into me, the Siano, you a technology, everything Yama, who will now say, a fissure, no matter, but they may my register, never they may. Momo account at all. May say a semi car not see if Momo account. Say a China Minisika Womoa. A Fesuna Miko renew me a roadway dia. Not a fine me. Science, you do that. Yes, you bet you what. You bet yes, cash, ama obi. So you're going to bottom. And then, son of yes, traffic, Emma. Into rotos there, a bar in different form. Making me register, seminam, etema. The bank kind of baby and the coaching in Mabia, they say, the do what? A semi cana, not see in Momo account. You can even no more to me and here. I first one and find me. and no nyasa be wom and cause traffic and you benya one lane or what who need a register no wo person with your cash no wo do the queue or what na ko jani sa queue no wo tia no afri anya sa to osuna ebeba no anko amanfa bottom kra traffic ka ebeba no enya se papa
I see.
It's a minimum dear. Those no as a fine, but as yet, send a general.
I see. Now, so Yembra back to job creation. Yahu Ghana Mebunu Dona, Etu Kwine Free Ghana, Ekwabana Neko Kope Nyuma, and there is the indication is that in Nyuma Endi Krumhanu Muse, in all the facets of the economy, job creation has been extremely low, and of course, Ama Mebunu Dona. Are very redundant and nema ahodo no mugu so moye. What aspect of the economy and I am bie mu say bit media bie nyuma na Ghana for mebuno nya bia ye.
Okay, first of all no abai entumi nye ejuma entumi maye obi ejuma enye yie eye ebetia yie kra nyansa ni eye private sector obi a wati na ejuma obi oboti wafa assistant yenu miensa obi otwa photo wafa sopaka obi wafa wafa Ghana for sebe ejuma mame eno na be yi nti se ye pese ejuma ba ye ma enyema etiti private businessmen eno ye pese eti business no ye yin fi ho na ye tumi atre ye business nemu na ye tumi afa crop bakone saying to me bobosa say na yetumi di service adwanu o tire adwanu ma o be fan crofo employment aban de obey ni obetumi so aban na ka se enisika nti wo a wo ni sika no na wo be ye adwuma wo be create jobs amaye na wakodi loan ebio makakwa ho ana Debbie.
I see.
A buying the Bompire and they say, that is the kind you know, and Nema entity private businessmen. A buying a pina and then your faha, we are hotel and for 5 do. Certificate way, no more deep bribe and bada, no more would do and bada, me in our subete. Na get me aye ye wo ye pese ye ti injuma no wo ti ejuma na wo ti mi ama wo fa se wo bi odam kwai chen wo nana imia wo ba wa ma wo ejuma.
All right. Stay with me na me call Parliament quick one. Embra na Mindy and Kobo how to say then let's do a critical analysis on that. Na mini abema sapoyo ending komo quick one or na yentu aso or sapoma minim se otemenka mami misao say yehu the governor of the Bank of Ghana or honomo any other dignitaries be aba honomo any omombo kobo na fe yentu aso honomo but ye hear say you bet me enya sapoyo ewo ahomane so from Parliament House. Now I made a live feed of what is going on. When you pay for Bibri or including members of Parliament, any other dignitaries be or Hodomwa, Amoni or Bidi and Kobo, ewo how to say. But Joe Jackson, my name is Ottoman Kadia. All right, so you best also call Joe Jackson Honomona. Yatwa Yankomono so Hormo. So it's all about the 2025 budget statement. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Ede Ashe Kessel, Ato Forson. I know our finance minister, so Uncle Ken on behalf of the government. Now, a free and air conina and a free the implementation period Nina air cono. Now, about to me, Edia Juma. Mind you, say the budget has already been approved by cabinet. That was last Thursday. Last Thursday, and a cabinet approved this particular budget. No, it tells you, say, and Yama Bibri, and Omudia go come on, person more pentemedia. But my main question is so now, many sapoma, any and komo, because enchebiano na Khemical Ato Forson emrashibedwam for aye krado enchebia speaker right honorable Abbas Sumana Babin ebetena say na afi watumi organize the Parliament House. The minority leader is seated, the majority leader is also seated. Now afi so mu na etena say we are na watumi invite on the floor of Parliament the Finance Minister Khemical Ato Forson na afi or the budget statement no ediaba. Na my budget statement we are Parliament be call recess for I think about 6 weeks. Na fi other committees ni bi start ye adwuma omo various committees no bi no start ye adwuma na bi no so anya kwan akomo various constituencies na fi omo akwakohwe niema ekoso ewo ho no mo. We are expecting say afi there will be enough funds for road construction. There will be enough funds and they are completely ye blocks ahodo a ewo Ghana ha no mu na no me kokasape ho de na areho na efere saso aniwu yesaso expect say ebe allocate funds a ebetimi de complete the 88 hospital started by Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. Now this is it. Enti yewo say allocate sika bebre ebetimi de aye nema bebre na afi yetimi akọ. Enti sapoma minim say wotemenka yenim se mpayifo bebre na oni omodi nkobo ene anopay sisi a when na available and when or ka den na dey try say at the end of the day budget statement betia akoye dia maye
Debi masomu biemo ewa omayi mrashe bedwam na sade kan eba ha say twa ha no say mfoni ema mu hu de e kwaso ha no se se de utimi hu no say eyade a edom kuma ene edom kese no na emu fa kese na aba abepie mu ha say ye twan ni mu say speaker eso so ebeba abedru ha no mu say na afe honorable Ato Forson na ene ye nyina ye hwe na ni mu say obeba na wabe ready budget no me ne wo kasa wanya aba abedru na emomo no chamber yi mu na oma emedru ye na ba bia me gina ha de wo hwe me nsani fa so a wotime hu no say empanifo akese pa maba abegina omumu omo aya ahemfo na ye ne honorable Afote Agbo wono wo former Greater Accra Regional Minister say ye ka NDC empanifo pa e wo Ghana hanu say ya wuyi Afote Agbo say de dodo na enim no efri mu a enye ye mamene no eni enkomo na ye nhwe eniema bia wo hwe animu enedai honorable we de wadaroma ye mo akwa babia mu e de oba onua TV so ye hia ide ye be kasara na ne no edan na wo hwe animu ankasa.
We really want change. we voted for it. And we have so much confidence. Whatever President Mama said, is going to do it. So that's all we are expecting from today's budget reading.
Okay, and medase JB said what's order no na chese say no speaker aye kradwa oba mo enti no ye betwa honorable Afote Agbo so e wa ha no mo say na chire no ye besan akone nchen na ye ne no akodi nkomo say de ebre na anya wiedu speaker ba na wabewura mo ha no mo say ansa na ye minister so abewura mo na enadwumadie no ye de ahyehye so
Mamina Sapoma ase na enchebia ebewremu ewo mrashibedwam. Right Honorable Speaker Abbas Khemical Babin, a Speaker of Parliament. When you be remediate, not just say all is set. Enche na the minority and the majority are seated already. Sasuna enche na Khemical Ato Forson. Oh yeah, the no a former minority leader and now the Finance Minister. Ebeba nafi or the budget statement 2025. Ede abreye nafi Ghana yehu yakoho masika. In the next 1 year. And of course, you be a comprehensive analysis of the two. The last year's budget and this year's budget. Can who say 2017 budget near friend asempa budget. Saso and a 2018 near friend a Juma pa budget. 2019 na ye mpuntro budget. 2020 na ye nkosro budget. And a 2021 na ye we're here, we here budget. And 2022, Ajenkwa budget. 2023, Kenofori Atafreno and Kabum budget. And 2024, Mohammed Enim, Efreno and Kunim budget. All these budgets are His Excellency, the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, representing Ghana for. So from 2017, and Sempa budget, Ejuma pa budget, Mpunto budget, and Koso budget, it is up to you to judge for yourself. The year Madika Kacho say a comprehensive comparative analysis of the two budgets, the two administration. Near Ghana for. Of course, we are expecting say Enyema Hodwo Bebre Besesa. Na Ghana for etimi ehwa Harry World. Ghanaians should be able to get value for their money. That is number one. Ye kwatwa de na se yeti eto ne se so ba so e de magana ni. Di se ya kwan we e de ato ho no mo a. Ma ye hunu se ekwan we ye yeto na yetua no ekwan ene wayi na na. Yeto yetua na ene wade si school dan na na. Na enkonko ba se ye kwakosi school dan na ya sa kwobbo bosia foforo. Ne ya da be si school dan na eto na yetua ne de na kwakoye as a fufro edi amaye. Yebe na ebeje to mu say the previous government eja get fund, eja esla, eja a lot of sinking funds near ade na edema Ghana for. Now they should give us a true account and a pictorial account of every single sika at Miakum. Free SHS there, mind you, say free SHS has come to stay. Almost say ombe review. Now yebe pe ni munia hwe niema hodwa. I bet me improve the free SHS, any other initiatives on back. I know that there is an aspect of the big push NDC for a promising Ghana for the $1 million jobs for the people and in Ghana for a friend say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama a bit me implementing all these ones. Meaning saying I do bit me in the next 4 years with all these manifesto promises. But on my a reasonable number of promises are or implemented na abafo from bar or those about betwaso. And never be brave or no more a can rem. Ye hear those and your man let me improving the lives of the Ghanaian. That is our hospitals, your schools, your Kenya Hodo, street lights are a very big challenge at the Maye. Ye pese Ghana, it's me improving na yes also create a numa ahodo. That is the ultimate thing. You be say nya enuma ahodo na Ghana for nya enuma eye pa. So Ghana mebunu enya dwuma ya. I am not sure say you come bedo say be call Vietnam. Ni call China, ni call Japan, ni call Pakistan, ni call all other countries say you call dwuma ye. All in the name say ya mobra. Ya mobra e wo yekrum ha no mo say. Nti say to me e boy ye ho bra, ni e boy ye ho akohoma yie. Na yetimi enya Sika Edugu Yeboto. And it's all about creating an enabling environment for the private sector to grow. It is very, very important. It said you create an enabling environment for the private sector to grow. This the private sector need to meet Jan now so year. And I yet toward the free private sector anymore. And I buy no it's me in Sika. Government, mind you, government has no business doing business. It is a government has no business doing business. The only thing that makes me a buying it me Yeska, not me Jan and Naso, and this will be create an enabling environment for every single private sector to grow. Or empower the farmers, or empower the private sector. No moon to me, engineer or nas, no moon. Gone are the days near war a lot of individuals. Near war Boris B farms, there were Kate farm, there were Cocoa Dako farms, there were all those ones that no produce cocoa and Kusia and the Maye. And ye crack kusia. Ye crack tomatoes. Ye crack jenny. Even spring onion cry ye crack. And see, it tells you say, I say, ye started but ya mobra. Ye ne Ghana Airways. Ye ne Ethiopian Airline and a started Ethiopian Airlines about 100 years. Ghana Airways is see how no say ye do. It's how no say the Adana restaurant ye do. And he say yet me and make a conscious effort to say ye bet try na yet me ama ye niema ye produce wo Ghana and I niema ye wo Ghana bet me ahwe so ye a bet me aboa ye enti ma yenko mrashibedwam na fe yenko to aso na Khemical Ato Forson finance minister empire start ye best see ya
love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, we will take item 6. Item 6. Correction of votes and proceedings and official reports. We start with the correction of votes and proceedings of Friday, 7th March 2025. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 3, page 6, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8. Yes, Honorable Member.
Speaker, with respect, none of us on the last row has a copy of the vote sample. No, they haven't uploaded it. It's not on it.
Honorable members, page 8. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, page 8. For consistency's sake, item 6A, Methodist Girls High School, Mamfi, from Equiapim. Equiapim here has been spelled with an E. However, if you go to page 262, the constituency, Equiapim has been spelled with an I. So I don't know whether it's the I or the E that's correct. Yeah, just for consistency. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, table office kindly cross-check the correct spelling of Aquapim. Aquapim with regard to the constituency, not the general term Aquapim, the proper spelling of the name of the constituency. Page.
Right, Honorable
Yes.
Speaker, there is a correct spelling.
Which one is the correct
with
spelling?
An E.
So what about page 2 when it's an I?
The Electoral Commission designated it as an I, but for the school.
I am not interested in Electoral Commission. I'm interested in the correct spelling.
The correct spelling is an E.
Yes,
Mr.
so
Speaker.
why didn't you draw our attention when we're at page 2? When it was spelled with I.
We don't have a copy of it here. All those here.
That is not a challenge to me. It's a challenge to you. If it is that the whole house have not been given copies, that I can come in. But when some individuals don't have copies, it's not a point of order for Mr. Speaker to interrupt the proceedings. Yes. Minister for Foreign Affairs.
I'm most grateful, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, item number 5II at page 8. The communication from His Excellency the President informing the House that the Honourable Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka has been assigned additional ministerial responsibility for national security. Mr. Speaker, the additional has been omitted. It should be. The rendition here does not accurately capture that, because it's not a reshuffle if it's not captured accurately. So Right Honourable Speaker, the rendition here does not convey accurately what the communication is, because he's the Minister for Interior and he has been assigned that additional responsibility for national security. So, Mr. Speaker, if the table office can capture the essence more accurately, you don't get that impression here.
Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, what's your authority on this? Is it in the law or in the communication?
Well, Right Honourable Speaker, is from the communication, and Honourable Minister.
Have you had sight of the communication?
Yes, Right Honourable Speaker, we were copied.
Whether you were talking or you were laughing, that's not an issue. The issue is, have you had sight of the communication? You are
yes,
sure?
Mr. Speaker.
Because the copy I read did not have any word like additional. The communication is that he's being assigned the responsibility of not additional responsibility. So, Minister, you are out of order. Can we proceed? Yes, Minister for Energy and Green Transition. Oh, Energy and Green Transition.
Mr. Speaker, just a suggestion to you. Probably through you to the table office. It's true that not all of us have had copies of the, not the order paper, the votes and proceedings. Mr. Speaker, under your able leadership, you provided us with very, very beautiful and working computers. So maybe I thought that I could appeal to you if you could direct the table office to make available next time the votes and proceedings on the computer, at least. Without even the paper copy, we can easily follow on the computer and make comments and suggestions as necessary. Mr. Speaker, just for your guidance and consideration. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable members, the structure we are using as the Chamber of Parliament was constructed in 1964. In spite of all our attempts to modernize it, we are still having serious challenges. And so it's not easy to unload some of the applications we have. In the electrical connections are also giving us serious problems. It means we have to replace all including the Job 600. That's quite a colossal sum, which our budget has not been able to take. So we have a lot to unload into your PCs, but we are having challenges. And so you see that we're doing it piecemeal. And I hope in the near future we'll succeed in putting all there so that it will be a paperless parliament. We don't want to be giving you hard copies. It's quite expensive to run such a system. So bear with us. We'll get there sooner than later. Yes, honorable members, can we go to page 9? Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Yes, honorable member. Honorable member, my mic is working. Honorable members, is it the case that your mics have stopped working? Honorable members, I will proceed to suspend sitting for a few minutes so that it could be rectified. Please, just on 5 minutes.
It's back. The speaker is back.
Honorable members, are you sure?
Why is on? Then everybody should come here and talk. Mr. Speaker, it appears that my microphone is working, and I'm ready to yield my space for anybody who wants to speak in the House, Mr. Speaker. I'm ready to do that, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, sitting is suspended for 5 minutes.
So nice working.
No.
The mic is not working. It's working. But after the time you want to.
And the Parliament has suspended sitting for the next 5 years, and it appears to us to say in 5 minutes. So, in 5 minutes, but it appears to me that there are technical issues so how to make some resolve it as soon as possible. And we was suspended sitting for 5 minutes just to ensure say all other technical issues were resolved. But the best also I go back to Brashibi Dream Hona. Yene Sapoyo Edim Komo Ewo Ehodum na yahwe enema ekoso. But right now, ye na your expectation and say budget no sense no be started babon saying the e-levy a year to hold, COVID levy a year to COVID levy there, it has never made sense from day one till now. COVID levy, to me, it has never made sense from day one till now. And as it stands now, yenya COVID levy home for so be minim sebim prediasa. Adia the COVID levy no edia say even if minim say you are paying back the sikaye kokwaji free, bose kokobo free and call for no hono as a result of that they are fine. But like I'm saying, budgets ni na hodo ni na no levies ahodo no ye for ne de bi ababeka ho. We are expecting say enkonkoye a burden tax bia ebema Ghana for ekomu ebu but ye pe to bi ebetumi ma Ghana for ekomu ahare wo na Ghana ni natumi aye adwuma akọ aba se ne be ya asundwe ebetumi aba na wotumi improve on enwuma no. Mind you say as at about 3 years ago up to Edebani na no a lot of private businesses are relocating ebi wo hono mo a private businesses ni bi wo hono mo a or more closing down their shops, all in the name, say, and there was an enabling environment too conducive enough for them and for businesses to grow. Of course, the investor confidence no ever conform. But we are expecting, say, case Ato Forson, any John Dramani Mahama, a buying way, a bit to me, I restore the confidence and the hope of Ghanaians. That notwithstanding, you make it very sure and you create a conscious effort to say, you bet me, other industries, other private individuals, other businesses, at me, nema, at me, akuye. Until whilst we wait and say, about Sumana Babin, bet me, about Nasi, in the next 4 or 5 minutes, you know, you expect to say, finance minister ba na or the budget statement, no, Eddie Breya, you bet me, enya. Sema which me restore hope any confidence na fe yet me ama Ghana for ehunu say niema ekoye. Of course we will have economists and financial experts for you don't be dim come one way or the other to also explain to us because many be all too technical. We are expecting say in the next up to from now to say after na we ya the budget be e-blocks ahodo no ye betumi completely na awie I wo Kumasi betumi aye na project be back nwuram any other project ahodo a aka nwura de aye I don't expect such a me fofo ase a ekobo ye no about the time we na ye be start atua enti there is an benya de free here one thing okay dinia obetumi anye ye ya but this is a ska na se e-levy no mama ye ntwamu a me ne ye num dia ene yenyi free ho mfaso bi ama achekra 2022 ena COVID-19 etwamu wetwam de daada say because of Russia Ukraine war no but yes man mema edi nkomo our level they will see one as ye 8,100 ghost names authority no it is so clear say the bank enya so faso bum no omo yes ghost names ahodo na for no see it me streamline no eda ya nemu enti eni ho pego no nya value nya book keke here Ato Forson eni say eye book keke ene kasa keke e say eye practical see yes betua tax Eric Owusu awo Columbus Ohio ni na on the signpost ya yeyi Ghana yes betumi how many kilometer of road are you levy here for a short while the energy sector off Nana Danko Akufo-Addo ne omudi the energy sector off Nana Danko Akufo-Addo ne omudi gu akwemu we expect to say nyegina ne naso na gina yie Ghana for yebu we expect to say nyegina ne naso na gina yie Ghana for yebu befu yie pa yetua kane na yinam amene ye papa no makuafo so kedi dada e sia wo the kind of economy apam dada e sia wo the kind of economy apam aban say omonko and confidence in your Ghana afi and confidence in your Ghana afe our sharp your 2025 budget Facebook page your 2025 budget Facebook page na watch me any the amount na afe meant to me any the amount na afe meant to me the budget statement me no kasa it's about any onia 95 points it's going to statement me no kasa it's about any onia 95 points it's going to take very long time to repair the way omoenesia say no to repair the way omoenesia say no babo so say kra and Kingsley ye charge prices of the and Kingsley ye charge prices of the kingdom or say COVID-19 levy any yacht duty dom or say COVID-19 levy any yacht duties of course me know I agree with you on that. Exactly what do you expect? Realization 100%. When God is in control, JM for life. The dawn 100%. When God is in control, JM for life. The dawn I'll say yeah and also me know dream our currency about SHS and also me know dream our currency about SHS whatever taxes for us I feel yet to me I'm not from them kind of 5 years. A reduction of import duties kind of 5 years. A reduction of import duties strategically about 40% investment Ato Forson yes we are trying to say benya field. JB I understand 40% investment Ato Forson yes we are trying to say benya field. JB I understand that we are not in normal times near the cents instead of the 10%. We are not in normal times near the cents instead of the 10%. And see 5 minutes to know me JM will do our chest should be 5 minutes to know me JM will do our chest should be allocated for grade 2 years posting allowances 2 years posting allowances so after your marking less from after your marking less from after your mark says real deal and I'm also expecting road minister me nim the can I'm also expecting road minister me nim the can I don't know but it's me amendments I will back airports anyway it's also amendments I will back airports anyway. So also bet me ascend over the about scale of money there. Basic education school, I agree with you. The about scale of money there. Basic education school, I agree with you. To give about 75%. I agree with you. To give about 75%. I agree with you. To feed our own student school feeding program near access. You remove all the school feeding program near access. You remove all the taxes. I agree with you. Mobile data enfano. Data crash trusting you. Mobile data enfano. Data crash trusting. They should sack at Enchi College of Education. Expect JM to build at Enchi College of Education. Expect JM to build a tramod to agriculture colleges and bring me. When do you see all these things colleges and bring me? When do you see all these things in our system? Share the bottom. Unlike other places, Mahama is not share the bottom. Unlike other places, Mahama is not going to cancel. First year own school. J.B. Rahim Adams of Bremai. First year own school. J.B. Rahim Adams of Bremai. His son is a GM should. Yes, sir. Joseph messages bra. It's a lot of forcing. Should. Yes, sir. Joseph messages bra. It's a lot of forcing. Ede Ebreye. Expecting 5G network into expecting 5G network into farming. John Dumelo and grow more manone M and grow more manone Emma. Meno kase nimba. Also JB if Ghana General Hospital should be JB if Ghana General Hospital should be completed, please. Kra Aflawo Road is movement. Baby Aflawo Road is movement. Baby esu akwan ho. Inti esu akwan ho. Inti akwan ena ewo a me no kra be ya akwan ne bi fa. Akwan ena ewo a me no kra be ya akwan ne bi fa maye. Na information to the president. We need to see what the information to the president. We need to see what the Ghana sika biano. Ghana sika biano. Ghana hanu musia. Ebetumi atua ya boss. Ebetumi akomra hye Ghana hanu musia. Ebetumi atua ya boss. Ebetumi akomra hye bedwam na right case Ato Forson. 5 minutes, but it looks like case Ato Forson. 5 minutes, but it looks like Angola, but sound no more too clear. Will ease our cost of living. Stephen Seraph Stephen, I agree with you 100%. Cost of living, nah, yet me agree with you 100%. Cost of living, nah, yet me at the Sankom school na chi hono mo pe Presec Junior High School hono. Medical catch us say chi hono mo pe Presec Junior High School hono. Medical catch us say enche na ye ko mrashido enche na ye ko mrashido. We won't come back home bogus. So we won't come back home bogus. JB all the scrap na yentimi inform nko school. Ghana should be able to na yentimi inform nko school. Ghana should be able to create a soye pa. Ye hear ne sebema sound ne munye but yent me edema. Ye hear ne sebema sound ne munye but yent me edema mrashibedwem. Yankofa mrashibedwem. Yankofa na no December.
Page 16.
Na no December.
Page 16. Yes.
16.
Committee of selection.
Not 9. 90. Not 9. 90.
The arrangement of for the standard in brackets. For the standard in brackets. Honorable Professor. And I repeated several times. So if Professor. And I repeated several times. So if
Page 17. Please.
Item 11.
Please.
Item 11 is both at 11 and.
The fact
both at 11 and.
The fact that there have been some mistakes, error proved. So they are working at it. If you add your piece, they are working at it. If you add your piece, we'll get on. With regard to the page, we'll get on. With regard to the page 19, 22, 25, 29 of will be taking your piece until they reach. Will be taking your piece until they reach. They were having issues with happen after the presentation. Take page 59. Corrections. The votes on proceeding 7th March 2025. Tuesday, 25th February 2025. Any corrections? Honorable members, in the absence of any correction, yes?
Mr. Speaker, some minor corrections on column 79, second paragraph, line 8.
Line 8, the former president, John Ajay Kufuor, names are very significant. The second Kufuor was spelled wrongly. It should be Kufuor, not Our. Kufuor. It's a Kufuor. Then the last paragraph, the last sentence, beginning to tend to that concept. Tend is used here, but I suspect the right word should be tend, T-U-R-N, instead of tend, T-E-N-D. Thank you.
Table office, kindly take note of that. Yes, honorable member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on column 75, line 8, the sentence should read, but I want to highlight one important thing that the maker, Mr. Speaker, the article there has been excluded, and I think that it is proper we include that. Still on the same column, line 17. Mr. Speaker, it should read as, I think that apart from the law, the act that was passed by the House, we has been omitted. We should look at the projects. So, Mr. Speaker, the Hazard Department the table should include we there. Mr. Speaker, column 76, paragraph 3. We have, Mr. Speaker, lastly, I would want to also suggest that apart from the budgeting offloading of projects, the mistake here is the phrase, the maker of the statement has to be deleted. The maker of the statement has to be deleted and replaced with we, so that it will then read as, Mr. Speaker, lastly, I would want to also suggest that apart from the budgetary offloading of projects, we could include in every brochure, ... So that, I think, should be the rendition. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, the same paragraph, line. I would be able to tell that when I call this investor, the B is excluded, and it has to be included in the sentence, be able to, and we'll replace participate with partner. We'll replace participate with partner in the same sentence. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, table office, you have to listen to the voice and do the proper thing. Well, this is quite massive, and partner and participate, they are quite different and distinct. So the voice will determine which one to use. Because if you read the standing orders, it talks about it being put in as much as possible. Is a verbatim reportage of what is said on the floor. Yes, please.
I'm most grateful, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, at column 144 of the official report, my contribution to the tribute to the Osajefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the second paragraph at column 144, the word is faith columnists, not fee. So it should be F-I-F-T-H. What we have here is F-E-E-D. So, Mr. Speaker, if that can be corrected. And then the first paragraph at column 144, Fidel Castro should not belong to that category. They should be put in a different category. So if the corrections could be effected accordingly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, table office, kindly take note of that. Yes, honorable members, there be no further corrections. The official report of the 25th February 2025 is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honorable members, we will now move on to the item of the day. I mean the main item of the day, that is item 7, statements. The first statement. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on our today's order paper, item 7, as you rightly call, the budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2025. Mr. Speaker, I want to invite you to our standing orders, order 195. 2. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I need guidance and I'll read it. Mr. Speaker.
Please, let's listen to the Deputy Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the Minister was, Mr. Speaker, order 1952. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, I need guidance and I read. The budget statement and economic policy of the government shall be presented to the House by the Minister responsible for finance on behalf of or on the authority of the President, and in a form the House may determine. Mr. Speaker, I'm emphasizing on the last part, in a form the House may determine. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, this new standing orders on this 9th Parliament, we haven't determined any form the budget statement will be presented as at now. Mr. Speaker, I have gone to read Order 6, and I have checked on our schedule from Schedule 1 to Schedule 10, and that of Order 6, and I have not been able to understand. And as we stand, Mr. Speaker, as at now, the House has not determined the form the budget is going to be presented. So, Mr. Speaker, the House has to determine the form before he can present any statement. Mr. Speaker, that is my plea, that the House must determine, my application is that the House must determine the form of the budget statement before he reads the statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Public Financial Management Act and its various amendments spell out clearly the budgeting process, the requirements of a budget, what must be contained in it, and etc. And that was a legislation enacted by this same Parliament. And this Parliament acts according to the prescriptions of that legislation. So if there are provisions in the standing orders that recommend that we have a form in which the budget should be presented, the provisions of the Public Financial Management Act, of course, is the parent legislation dealing with financial management and the presentation of budgets. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't think there's an issue here. Let's proceed and take the budget statement from the Minister of Finance.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I have listened to the application by the Member of Parliament for Tolon. I have also listened to the Leader of the House responding to the said application. The Leader of the House makes a general submission. The application was anchored on the rules of this House. A mandatory provision in Order 195, there's no may there. It reads, for the avoidance of doubt and at the risk of being repetitive, this is what it says. The budget statement in economic policy of the government shall be presented to the House by the Minister responsible for finance on behalf of and on the authority of the President, and in the form the House may determine. Yes, wait, look at them. Mr. Speaker, wait, yes. So, yes, wait. Mr. Speaker, they should take it easy. They should take it easy. They should take it easy. This is law. Take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy. So, Mr. Speaker, what is the reverse logic? Please, for the benefit of our young ones, for the benefits of the young ones, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, this House is a house of procedure. This House is equally guided by its own rules and precedents. Wait a moment. For those who are in a hurry to shout in his agreement, if the law says may determine, is it also the case that in reverse logic, the House may decide not to determine any form? But no, wait. The law is that a budget statement must be presented. But we are saying again that as a House, we may have to determine which form. So, Mr. Speaker, the invitation by the minority, the deputy minority whip, is well founded. He is inviting us as a House to determine, are we going to allow him to make a statement, or we are going to allow him to move a motion? Is it going to be in a form of a motion or in a form of a statement? This is a well-anchored application. Don't use your number to shout to intimidate him. He has made a solid argument. This House has not determined the form in which this item has to be taken. The deputy minority whip is inviting us to set the ground rules. The majority leader got up and referred to PFM Act to say what? He didn't quote the specific provision. The man has made an application under our own rules. You didn't attack him on the rules. You didn't know. You didn't say anything against his application on the rules. Mr. Speaker, as the minister is here, in which form are we going to listen to him? What are you? Is he going to make a statement, or he is going to move a motion? Mr. Speaker, this house is being invited to determine this matter. You see, the Supreme Court has had an occasion to give a contextual interpretation where may is placed to mean shall. Yes, it is there. No, come on, Mr. Speaker, even that argument aside, put that argument aside. There's no need for any interpretation of whether may should be shall. The point is that the law provides that we should determine the form. The law says we should determine the form. In this house, there are ways to come here. You come to make a statement, you come to move a motion. What is the minister coming to do? It's for this house to determine. Is he going to move a motion in accordance with Article 179? Or he's coming to make a statement? And when he makes a statement, what happens? Is it going to be left with a chairman of a finance committee to now move that this house should debate the statement? Mr. Speaker, this is a solid application and he should be applauded for what he's done. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I would want to rule on this matter. I've heard enough. I think in terms of procedure, the right thing has been done. The order you quoted clearly states the statement of the estimates of revenue and expenditure of the government. It says what? The statement. And so what they are bringing to us is a statement. And when statements are admitted, they are presented as statements. Now, when you go to 1952, which you refer to, it says the budget statement and economic policy of the government shall be presented to the House by the minister responsible for finance on behalf of or on the authority of the president. That's first. Second, and in a form the House may determine. Honorable Minority Leader, you are not in a shouting battle. Please. This is the House. The only way the House can determine however you define form is when the statement is presented to you. The House cannot determine this matter outside the House. You can only determine it when you are truly sitting as a House. And this is the House. He's presenting the statement. If you decide that you want a form, you define form in any different manner as you are doing, then this is the time when it is presented, you take this opportunity to determine that form you want, different from the earlier forms that we've decided and been practicing. If this is what you want to do, please, the statement must first be presented to you. It has to be presented to the House. And If you may, you determine the form you want it to be presented. That can be part of the debate. But I'm not sure the definition you are putting on the word form. Form. Please go back to your lexicons. To determine the meaning of form. I think the writing is being done. The statement was admitted. It's been properly captured on the order paper as programmed by the business committee, and the minister is here to present the statement to the House. So the minister may do so. So honorable members, Honorable Minister, just a minute. Just a minute. Honorable members, at the commencement, yes.
Mr. Speaker, just to thank you for your guidance and the proper interpretation of 1952. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Galamsey for the longest time until I became a Galamsey.
Honorable members, item 7, statements. The budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2025. Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, on the authority of His Excellency the President, President John Dramani Mahama, and pursuant to Article 179 of the Constitution and the other paper, and the standing orders of the House, Order 1952, and today's order paper, item 7. Mr. Speaker, I present to you the budget statement and economic policy of government for the year ending 31st December 2025. Right Honorable Speaker, today marks a moment of great significance, and I have the singular honor to stand before this House to present
on behalf of His Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, following his extraordinary mandate, the maiden budget of his new administration. Mr. Speaker, I'm deeply grateful to His Excellency the President for entrusting me with this responsibility. Respectfully, Mr. Speaker, I also submit to this House the following statutory report as required by law. The 2024 annual report on the petroleum funds in line with Section 48 of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act 2011, Act 815, as amended, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also submit the 2024 Energy Sector Levies report in accordance with Section 6 of the Energy Sector Levies Act 2015, Act 899. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the 2024 annual report on the collection and utilization of the African Import Union Levy in line with Section 7 of the African Union Import Levy Act 2017, Act 952. Right, Honorable Speaker, with this budget, I will also be seeking a review of the following act to support the policies of government aimed at stabilizing the economy and promoting inclusive growth. The first will be an amendment to the Petroleum Revenue Management Act 2011, Act 815. The second will be the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund 20, Act 870. And the second will be an amendment to the Mineral Income Investment Fund Act 2018, Act 978. The Speaker, I will also be seeking amendment to the Energy Sector Levies Act 2015, Act 899. I will be seeking amendment to the Ghana Cocoa Board Act, Act 1984, the PNDC Law 81, as amended. The Speaker, that's not all. I will also be seeking amendment to the Earmark Funds Capping and Realignment Act 2017, Act 947, the Ghana Procurement Authority Act 2003, Act 663, as amended in Act 914. Speaker, I will be seeking amendment to the Ghana Education Trust Fund Act 2000, Act 581. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I will also be seeking amendment to the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2018, Act 982, and incorporating into a comprehensive public financial management act. Mr. Speaker, I forgot to add that I will also be seeking amendment to the Revenue Administration Act 2016, Act 915. So, Speaker, we remain committed to the pursuit of our 24-hour economic policy of stimulating economic growth and job creation. Right, Honorable Speaker, this policy will contribute to addressing Ghana's structural economic challenge by creating an integrated, efficient, and increasingly export-driven industrial economy that fulfills the utilization of our national resources, capital, and labor power. Right, Honorable Speaker, will be presenting the 24-hour economy policy to Parliament in due course. In this respect, Mr. Speaker, the Labour Act, the Ghana Investment Promotion Act, and other enabling legislations will be reviewed accordingly. Mr. Speaker, as part of the effort to stabilize our cedi through foreign exchange and gold reserve accumulation, I will also submit a bill to provide a legal framework for the establishment government for the year ending 31st December 2025. Mr. Speaker, standing here evokes a sense of nostalgia as I reflect on my journey in public service. From my early days as a young parliamentarian in this House in the year 2009, destiny has guided my path from a backbencher to a member of the Finance Committee, to a Deputy Minister of Finance, to ranking member of the Finance Committee, to Minority Leader, to Majority Leader briefly, and now, Mr. Speaker, as Minister responsible of Finance. Right, Honorable Speaker, the invaluable experience I gained in this chamber has shaped my perspective, sharpened my focus, and prepared me for the task at hand. I fully commit to supporting His Excellency the President to fix the economy of Ghana. I take this opportunity to extend my profound gratitude to the good people of Ejumako and Yanesiam, my constituents, and to you, Mr. Speaker, and members of this House across the aisle for your unwavering support throughout my years in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, this esteemed House is a sanctuary of rigorous debate, principled cooperation, and at times constructive disagreement, all in the pursuit of greater good of our beloved country. I look forward to working with you, Right Honorable Speaker, and my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to reset the Ghana's economy through sound policy and structural reforms that will propel our country forward. Mr. Speaker, there comes a time in a nation's history when fundamental challenges must be confronted, difficult choices must be made, and a new course must be set for the future. For Ghana, the defining moment is now. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama made a commitment to reset Ghana for jobs, accountability, prosperity. Mr. Speaker, as captured in the NDC manifesto, in this regard, the theme of our budget is resetting the economy for Ghana we want. Right Honorable Speaker, the democratic principles we tirelessly fought for are being held. Our democracy has been consolidated with yet another peaceful transition of power. That notwithstanding, our youth face an uncertain future with growing unemployment and hopelessness. This suggests that the dividends of democracy, such as economic prosperity and social justice, remains elusive. Mr. Speaker, the choice before us as a country are clear. We can either continue on a path of self-destruction by not confronting the problems, or we can embark on a journey of fundamental reforms and transformation, one that resets our economic model, redefines our priorities, honors our social contract, and provides opportunity for all. Mr. Speaker, luckily, President Mahama has chosen the path of reform and transformation. He will fix the economy. He will restore hope and lead us to build the Ghana we want together. Right Honorable Speaker, this budget was preceded by the National Economic Dialogue on the theme Resetting Ghana, Building the Economy We Want Together, on the 3rd and the 4th of March 2025. Through this consensus-building dialogue, the people demanded a decisive action, real solution to the severe challenges that plagued us as a country. Mr. Speaker, the 2025 budget is a culmination of the true aspirations, felt needs, genuine desires of the people of Ghana, expressed through the engagement with diverse stakeholders. As part of our broad consultation also, ahead of the budget, we recently engaged traders at major trading centers, including the Mokola market, to listen to their concerns, gauge their expectations, and elicit their input. Mr. Speaker, the extensive consultation revealed that the overriding concern among Ghanaian traders and business community remains price and exchange rate stability. Apart from eroding their working capital, exchange rate volatilities makes effective business planning impossible and increase the cost of doing business. This budget outlines far-reaching measures which will be implemented in close collaboration with the Central Bank, the Bank of Ghana, to effectively and efficiently manage the exchange rate and inflation. Mr. Speaker, we also engage the youth of Ghana in a dialogue on social media as part of our new budget consultation. Mr. Speaker, during my engagement with the youth, it was revealed that 321 pharmacists who were employed since June 2023 have not received their salaries. We will take urgent steps to remedy this situation immediately. Right Honorable Speaker, this conversation was an eye-opening experience, one that strengthened my belief that the voices of the youth matter in designing policies
that directly and indirectly impact their lives and future. So, Speaker, in the year 2016, I came to this chamber on behalf of the then Minister of Finance, the Honorable Seth Emmanuel Tepe, and led the passage of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 912, to deploy a robust public financial management system. Even though, Mr. Speaker, the Public Financial Management Act remains one of the best in the world, its poor implementation has rendered our public financial management systems weak, allowing for abuse and costly infraction. So, Speaker, President Mohammed's government is committed to the full implementation of this critical legislation. So, Speaker, accordingly, we will enforce the sanction regime, link contracting and public procurement to budgetary provisions in the medium-term expenditure framework, and seek parliamentary approval for all multi-year commitments as required by law. Mr. Speaker, we will comply with the public procurement process and link them to approved budget. We will also respect the limits of the appropriations as approved by Parliament. We will rationalize the management of the compensation of employees, including conducting headcounts across the country. Mr. Speaker, I now turn my attention or my focus to the state of the Ghanaian economy as at 31st December 2025. Right Honourable Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I now focus my attention on the state of the Ghanaian economy as at 31st December 2024. Mr. Speaker, hands on heart, we inherited an economy in deep crisis. Mr. Speaker, an economy hard hit with debt and beset by other fiscal challenges, such as large accumulation of MDRS, energy sector, shortfalls, and financial sector payments. Mr. Speaker, recommitment control and reckless public spending have reversed the progress made in fiscal consolidation, even under the IMF program that commenced in the year 2023. Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the gains made under the IMF-supported program that was to achieve through the painful sacrifice of domestic bondholders, external creditors, and taxpayers, the economy remains in distress. Right Honourable Speaker, key performance indicators to be assessed by the IMF staff in the upcoming fourth review of the program, scheduled for April 2025, such as the primary balance on commitment basis, inflation, social protection, and others, as at end 2024, are likely missed. Right Honourable Speaker, in addition, all structural benchmarks due by end December 2024 are also missed. So, Speaker, inflation worsened in the year 2024 from 23.2% in the year 2023 to 23.8% in 2024. So, Speaker, the 2024 end period inflation also exceeded the budget target of 15% by 8.8 percentage points and the IMF central target of 18% by 5.8 percentage points. Unfortunately, this has triggered a discussion with IMF under the monetary policy consultation clause. Right Honourable Speaker, the primary balance on commitment basis worsened from a deficit of 0.2% of GDP in the year 2023 to a deficit of 3.9% in the year 2024. Mr. Speaker, the primary balance on commitment basis target for 2024 was a surplus of 0.5% of GDP. Sadly, the previous government recorded a deficit of 3.9 percentage point of GDP. This presents a slippage of a whopping 4.4 percentage points. Right Honourable Speaker, at the end of December 2024, total central government arrests amounted to 67.5 billion Ghana cedis, representing 5.2% of GDP. The Speaker, with the road sector recording an arrest of 21 billion Ghana cedis. The Speaker, when I assumed office
on the 23rd of January 2025, my office was inundated with requests for payment from many contractors and suppliers. To ascertain the total arrears and outstanding payment for all MDAs, the Ministry of Finance decided to formally request all MDAs on the 28th of January 2028 to submit information on all arrests and outstanding claims for validation. Subsequently, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Finance held a special hearing with the MDAs to validate the arrests that were submitted for payment. The response from the MDAs and the validation revealed that a staggering amount of 67.5 billion Ghana cedis is owed to government contractors and suppliers. Mr. Speaker, this consists of MDA's outstanding interim payment of invoices worth 49.2 billion and bank transfer advice at the Controller Accountant General worth 18.3 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, this 67 billion excludes 1.73 billion US dollars owed to independent power producers. This 67 billion also excludes 68 billion Ghana cedis owned by Electricity Company of Ghana to contractors. Mr. Speaker, this 67 billion US dollars also exclude the 32 billion owned by the Ghana Cocoa Board to contractors. And Mr. Speaker, this 67.5 billion also excludes the 5.75 billion owned by the Ghana Road Fund to various contractors. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Bank of Ghana is also seeking an amount of 53 billion Ghana cedis as bailout to be able to address their negative equity challenge that they face. Mr. Speaker, as part of the measures to address these mounting accumulated arrests, we have commissioned an audit of these arrest payments and guarantee value for money before a penny will be paid. Mr. Speaker, before a penny will be paid, we'll commit to do that arrest. Right, Honorable Speaker, in addition to the 67.5 billion cedis in arrests, the validation process also revealed that MDAs have awarded contract to the tune of a minimum 194 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, this amount represents 16.5% of GDP as at the end of 2024, with the road sector again alone accounting for 100 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, most of these contractors and most of these contracts were awarded without commencement certificate and authorization. Mr. Speaker, this is in blatant violation of the Public Financial Management Act 921. Right, Honorable Speaker, let me now update you on our debt service obligations. Mr. Speaker, apart from the huge arrests and commitment, our fiscal situation is further complicated by huge bullet debt service and constrained fiscal financing options. Currently, Mr. Speaker, the government's option to finance the budget is limited to only Treasury bill market following the debt restructuring program. Moreover, the forthcoming debt service of both domestic and Eurobond debt obligation will have profound implications for fiscal sustainability and balance of payment. Right, Honorable Speaker, domestic debt service alone, programmed for the next 4 years, is 150.3 billion Ghana cedis. So, Speaker, simply put, the interest and principal payment that will be due for payment beginning now for the next 4 years is 150.3 billion Ghana cedis. This represents 11.6% of GDP in domestic debt service obligation alone. The Speaker, of this 150 billion Ghana cedis, 73.3% of this 150 billion Ghana cedis is due for payment in the year 2027 and 2028. Right, Honorable Speaker, 2027 alone, the domestic debt service that will be falling due will be 57.6 billion, and 2028 will be made to call upon to pay 52.5 billion Ghana cedis. So, Speaker, the debt service obligation of 2027 and 2028 are major harms. These harms are cancerous and pose significant risks to the economy of Ghana. But, Mr. Speaker, touch wood, we shall fix it. We shall fix it. Mr. Speaker, our debt service obligation of this financial year is equally burdensome with significant harms. February, we were called upon to pay 9.9 billion. July, we'll be paying 6.2 billion, and August, we'll be paying 10.1 billion, all this year. Right Honorable Speaker, the fiscal challenges are further compounded by the significant short-term treasury bill that we also inherited. So, Speaker, these obligations, totaling about 111.1 billion Ghana cedis, requires rollover week in, week out, placing additional pressure on cash flows and liquidity requirements. Mr. Speaker, beyond the domestic maturities, Ghana faces significant external debt service obligations for the next 4 years. In the next 4 years, we'll be made to call upon to pay $8.7 billion US dollars, representing 10.9% of GDP, with heavy concentration again in the year 2027 and 2028. Again, Mr. Speaker, 55% of this external debt service will be due in the year 2027 and 2028. Right Honorable Speaker, in the year 2027, we'll be made to pay $2.5 billion US dollars, and 2028, we'll have to again pay $2.4 billion US dollars. Right Honorable Speaker, it seems the debt restructuring undertaken by the previous administration was designed to make 2027 and 2028 debt repayment heavy, sadly. So, Speaker, I don't know how come we sat and allowed that design to happen. So, Speaker, that is cancerous. But I can assure you, we will fix it. Mr. Speaker, in spite of all this upcoming domestic and external debt service obligation, no buffers were built to cushion this unprecedented debt service burden. Mr. Speaker, as of 7 January 2025, the debt service reserve account, the sinking fund in dollar, has a balance of $64,000 US dollars. Mr. Speaker, when we were leaving office, we left behind $319 million US dollars in that same account. Mr. Speaker, the debt service reserve CD account had an amount of 143 million Ghana cedis. Right Honorable Speaker, when we were leaving office, the balance was 430 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, I now move you to stalled project. Mr. Speaker, due to the bilateral creditors' debt restructuring that is ongoing, undertaken by previous administration, a staggering number of 55 projects have been halted. Mr. Speaker, this leaves a massive amount of 3 billion Ghana US dollars in undisbursed loans and about $300 million in outstanding interim payment certificates, IPCs. Some of these projects include the famous Ifia Kwanta Hospital, the Kejetia Market Phase 2, the Bolgatanga Boko Pomakrom Road, and the Tema Aflawa Road project. Delayed payment and demobilization from site could result in cost overruns of over 1.1 billion US dollars. Right Honorable Speaker, the IMF-supported program imposed an annual disbursement ceiling of $250 million for all bilateral loans that are being restructured. This constraint means that it will take a minimum of 12 years to complete all of this stalled program. So, Speaker, unfortunately, as a result of the debt restructuring, all this stalled program, working with the IMF will take a minimum of 12 years if we decide to go business as usual. We'll be engaging in the coming days to resolve this challenge. Speaker, I now take you to the famous energy sector fiscal risk. Mr. Speaker, the increase in energy sector financing shortfall is posing significant risk to the Ghanaian economy. In the year 2024, the Ministry of Finance supported the energy sector with payment of about 20.8 billion Ghana cedis. These resources could have been used for job creation and other development programs, like roads, schools, and hospitals, if the sector inefficiencies were resolved. The Speaker, a recent exercise conducted by the Energy Sector Financing Modeling Team under the Energy Sector Recovery Program, ESRP, revealed that the business-as-usual energy sector financing shortfall has increased significantly to about 35 billion Ghana cedis for the year 2025 alone, even after spending in excess of 20 billion cedis in the year 2024. Right, Honorable Speaker, more importantly, the shortfall for the period 2023 to 2026 has been estimated to be about 140 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, this amount is 20 times more than the allocation for goods and service for all MDAs in the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, in addition, the energy sector shortfalls, which relate to current invoices that are largely unpaid legacy arrests due to the independent power producers. Mr. Speaker, the legacy arrests stood at $1.73 billion as at end 2024. Right, Honorable Speaker, the cocoa sector, which has long been the backbone of the Ghanaian economy, is sadly on its knees, owing to gross mismanagement. Mr. Speaker, the sector faces declining output and financing challenges, characterized by unsustainable debt, rollover cocoa contract risk, and quasi-fiscal expenditures, including cocoa roads, which, Mr. Speaker, is a non-core function of the Ghana Cocoa Board. Right, Honorable Speaker, cocoa production has dropped by nearly 50% over the past 3 years. In the year 2023-2024 crop season, Cocoa Board was unable to supply 330,000 tons of cocoa to meet its contractual obligation. This sharply decline has affected the finances of Ghana Cocoa Board. This undersupply has been rolled over for subsequent years for the new administration to locked in at lower prices than the current market rates have resulted in revenue losses of about $840 million for both Ghana Cocoa Board and the impoverished cocoa farmer. Right, Honorable Speaker, the rollout cocoa contract has resulted in a loss of $495 million for the year 2025 alone. Mr. Speaker, these are the risks in relation to the market price differentials and as a result, costs causing the smuggling that we see with Ghana Cocoa Board. Mr. Speaker, Cocoa Board outstanding debt amount to 32 billion Ghana cedis, of which 11.92 billion is due to be paid in the year 2025. Outstanding cocoa road contracts reached 21 billion Ghana cedis, approximately $1.3 billion in the year 2024, of which only 4.4 billion has been accounted for in Cocoa Board's finances for the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, the financial sector still struggles even after spending 30.3 billion in the financial sector cleanup exercise by end 2024. This includes 26.9 billion Ghana cedis after spending this amount in the banking sector. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, the financial sector is still struggling, and the financial sector will require 10.45 billion Ghana cedis to address the financial sector legacy issues and emerging risk. In addition, Mr. Speaker, an amount of 2.2 billion Ghana cedis is required to fully capitalize the National Investment Bank and the Agricultural Development Bank of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I will also update the House on the fiscal performance for the year 2024. Mr. Speaker, the fiscal performance in the year 2024 was characterized by improved revenue collection, but with significant expenditure overruns. In addition, large arrests were accumulated over the period. Mr. Speaker, in summary, the provisional data shows the following. 1, primary balance on commitment basis, the key fiscal anchor of the IMF program, worsened from a deficit of 0.2% of GDP at the end of 2023 to a deficit of 3.9% of GDP at the end of the year 2024. This is 4.4 percentage points worse than the target surplus of 0.5% of GDP. Sadly, Mr. Speaker. On cash basis, Mr. Speaker, the primary balance was a deficit of 1.2% of GDP against a target of 0.6% of GDP, representing a 100% deviation. Mr. Speaker, the overall fiscal balance on commitment basis for 2024 was a deficit of 7.9% of GDP against a target of 4.2% of GDP, while the overall fiscal balance on cash basis was a deficit of 5.2% of GDP against a target of 5.3% of GDP. Total revenue and grants amounted to 186.6 billion Ghana cedis, or 15.9% of GDP, 5.3% above the revised target of 177.2 billion Ghana cedis, or 17.4% of GDP. The performance was mainly driven by higher than programmed oil and gas receipts and higher non-oil tax revenue collection. Total expenditure on commitment basis, including discrepancies, amounted to 279.2 billion, or 23.7% of GDP. This is 27.1% above the budget provisions of the year 2024, Mr. Speaker. The primary balance on commitment basis, including discrepancies, amounted to 232.4 billion, or 19.8% of GDP. This is 35.3% above the target of 171.7 billion, or 16.8% of GDP. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, all expenditure lines exceeded their respective targets for the period, except for interest payments, goods and service, and other expenditures. Right Honourable Speaker, the discrepancies for the year 2024 being unclassified expenditure was 3.8 billion Ghana cedis as compared to 12.9 billion Ghana cedis in the year 2023. Mr. Speaker, at the end of December 2024, provisional data indicate that gross central government and guaranteed debt was 726.7 billion from 610 billion in 2023. This represents 61.8% of GDP in 2024, compared to 68.7% in the year 2023. Mr. Speaker, it is instructive to note that the debt to GDP ratio and the dollar component of our debt that has come down, that has reduced, is as a result of the 37% haircut on principal of Eurobond debt under the debt restructuring. Mr. Speaker, it is important to know that. Mr. Speaker, Right Honourable Speaker, it is instructive to note that the debt to GDP that has reduced is as a result of the 37% haircut on principal and interest that were given to Eurobond bondholders. So, Speaker, you may recall that the government commenced the debt restructuring program in the year 2022 to restore debt sustainability and economic stability. As of now, the restructuring process is approximately 93% completed. The remaining 7% relate to debt of $2.7 billion owed to commercial creditors. We are committed to completing the remaining debt restructuring as soon as possible. Mr. Speaker, real sector development in the year 2024. Right Honourable Speaker, provisional 2024 GDP statistics published by the Ghana Statistical Service on the 10th of March 2025 shows that overall real GDP growth increased. So, Speaker, at the end of increased to 5.7% in the year 2024. So, Speaker, I take that again. The Speaker, provisional 2024 GDP statistics published by the Ghana Statistical Service on the 10th of March 2025 show that overall GDP growth grew by 5.7% of GDP in the year 2027, compared to the growth rate of 3.1% recorded over the same period. Mr. Speaker, the key driver of this growth was largely coming from gold mine. So, Speaker, including Galamsey. Including Galamsey. Mr. Speaker, Galamsey growth cannot be sustainable. Mr. Speaker, non-oil GDP growth. Mr. Speaker, the non-oil GDP grew by 0.6% in the year 2024, compared with the growth rate of 3.6% recorded in 2023. Mr. Speaker, the gross international reserves increased to a stock position of $8.98 billion at the end of 2024, and was enough to cover 4 months of imports, exceeding the target of a floor of 3 months of import cover. At the end of 2024, the currency had depreciated by 19.2% against the US dollars, 17.8% against the euro, against the British pound, Mr. Speaker, and it had depreciated by 13.7% against the euro. Mr. Speaker, Right Honourable Speaker, it is what it is. The state of our economy is troubling, but we will fix it. Mr. Speaker, touch wood, we will fix it. But Mr. Speaker, it will require some sacrifices, truthfulness, transparency, and discipline. We will take strong measures to confront the situation head-on. Mr. Speaker, the sacrifice must come from all stakeholders, beginning with the government. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the President appreciates this and has led the charge by significantly downsizing his government from the Elephant 88 to the Umbrella 60. Mr. Speaker, he has also reduced the number of his government ministries from the Elephant 30 to the Umbrella 23. Mr. Speaker, as part of the contribution to the resetting agenda, organized labor has followed suit by working with government and employers association to agree on a modest 10% increase in base pay and minimum wage for the year 2025. Right Honourable Speaker, on behalf of His Excellency the President, I would like to express my profound gratitude to organized labor and employers. Mr. Speaker, ordinary Ghanaians have also sacrificed by enduring the negative impact of severe currency depreciation since 2022. Hyperinflation, high food inflation, principal and interest haircuts, soaring interest rates, among others. Mr. Speaker, it is now time for the people's representative, the members of Parliament, and the judiciary to also follow suit. I would like to call on all other stakeholders, including the business community, faith-based organizations, academia, and civil society to support this national call. So, Speaker, our immediate task is to reset our nation, to restore good governance, reduce the excruciating suffering of our people, and set our country on a trajectory of economic transformation. So, Speaker, our vision is to build a prosperous and a democratic state, anchored on the principles of freedom and justice, providing equal opportunities for all. So, Speaker, through this vision, we will work together to build the Ghana we want. Right Honourable Speaker, the resetting agenda will be anchored on the following. 1, restoring hope in our democracy, renewing trust in public officials, and helping every Ghanaian attain their full potential. Offering a trusted hand to the vulnerable, particularly women and youth, and creating a new Ghana for coming generations. And finally, stimulating demand by patronizing made-in-Ghana goods under the 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, today I came to this chamber with made-in-Ghana bag, signifying, Mr. Speaker, with made-in-Ghana bag,
with Made in Ghana back. Mr. Speaker, I would like to first present, Mr. Speaker, they don't know that in Ghana we sew suit. Right, Honorable Speaker, I would like to first present the government's immediate and strong measures to address the current challenges we are confronted with, followed by the medium-term vision, policy objectives and targets. Right, Honorable Speaker, consistent with Section 14 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 911, the fiscal policy objectives of this government is to support the economic transformation agenda to ensure the macroeconomic stability of the country within the macroeconomic and fiscal framework. More specifically, the fiscal policy objectives of the government include the following: rationalizing government expenditure and eliminating wasteful expenditures.